If you're currently manually managing any step or process of within the life cycle of an invoice, you're easily losing 10 to 20 hours or even more every single month. Today, we'll be going over our Invoice Lifecycle Manager. Essentially what it is, it's just three separate workflows that work together to automate the entire life cycle of an invoice. Up here, the first one, what it's essentially doing is as soon as a project gets tagged, classified, whatever you want to call it, as complete, it's going to effectively create that invoice in a PDF document, a clean looking PDF document, which we'll showcase. Then it's going to store it into your company database, whether for this sake, we're going to be using Google Drive because it's free and this is a demo video, but it can, this system can work with any kind of database, like, whatever you use, Airtable, Notion, or if you're using a more high-tech one like, I don't know, Quadrant or Supabase or something like that, it works with anything. So essentially, it's going to, project gets tagged as done. It's going to create the invoice as a PDF, send a very neat-looking email to the recipient with that PDF attached, and then update the database. Then, I don't know why I put this workflow above this one, but we're going to jump down here. Essentially what this is going to do is every single week, 2 weeks, and 30 days, and then after the 30-day threshold, every single day, it's going to send a follow-up email to the recipient if they have not yet paid the invoice. So for this sake, we're going to say that our demo company, which we've titled 123 Construction Inc., essentially they want their invoices to be paid within 30 days. So once that 30-day threshold is surpassed, the system is going to send that recipient an email every single day. Otherwise, it reminds them after a week and after 2 weeks. So once that invoice gets paid, it's then going to move along into this part of the process, which is essentially confirming that the invoice has been paid and alerting you if there's any kind of bottleneck or hiccups in the process. So what this is doing is it's taking your inbox over a 24-hour period. So it's gathering all the emails you've received over 24 hours, and it's filtering for emails that have come specifically from your clients. This is very interchangeable. If you know exactly what emails or where the emails are coming from that confirm, your invoice has been paid, it can be changed. Anyways, get back to it. It's going to identify and look for an invoice that essentially confirms that your invoice has been paid. Once it's been paid, it's going to send you it's going to update the database, log it as a cost, and then send you a text message. Also, if there's any kind of question regarding the invoice, it'll recognize that, and it'll, instead of classifying it as being paid, it'll send it down a separate stream, which we'll get into here within the text classifier, and it will send you a text message with the exact link to that email, the message or the question, and etc. So let's get right into the walkthrough. So for the sake of this video, we have a ton of demo data, projects, clients. As you can see, projects are related to clients. Clients each have a project that they pertain to. The one we're going to be working on is this one right here because it has this is the client table. Yes, we're going to be looking at Ethan Davis because I've attached my own personal email so that we can effectively show you the entire process. But if we look at Ethan Davis, project is 2008, it's active, yada yada. So what triggers this entire process is, like I said, the project is now done. So what stage we're on in that project, if we go find 2008, we're going to go 15,000. Remember that number because it's going to show up quite a bit here. We're going to go and tag this as send payment. And again, this can be manipulated very easily to fit your own personal desires or preferences. So what we're going to do here, essentially what this is going to do is every 6 hours, it's going to look at this table and look for any projects that are tagged as send payment. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to manually start this process. So as we see, it's grabbing that information, grabbing information about the client, curating that document. We're going to see it go to this node here. And what it's effectively doing here is it's creating the PDF and then logging it into Google Drive. We can go into Google Drive and actually see it happen. Right now, it's just our Excel sheet, but we'll wait. Oh, come on. There it is. There's the document. And if we look at our demo data, payment sent with the invoice number. If we go to our inbox, ready? 3, 2, 1, let's refresh. Bang, invoice received. And like I said before, if we go to clients, it's going to say Ethan Davis, but it's realistically my Gmail. So if we open this up, ignore the 13,000 messages. We have a nice looking email with the outline of the project. And then if we scroll to the bottom here, if we click this, we have a beautiful looking PDF of our invoice. And if you want to cross-reference Ethan Davis, client ID, Ethan Davis, client ID, we got the email, which is me, company, Blue Sky Maintenance, beautiful, sorry. And if we look at the project 2008, which is going to be municipal contracts cleanup. Awesome. So there you go. And as you can see, the exact same invoice, $15,000. Beautiful. All right. So now let's start the second part of the process. Oh, and also here's the invoice tracking line. As you can see, it also created a line for that invoice. So what we're going to do next is we are going to trigger this step in the process. The following up, constant follow-up until some sort of confirmation that the client has paid the invoice. Like I said, it gets triggered every week, 2 weeks, 30 days, and then after 30 days, every single day, you're getting or sending a follow-up or reminder to pay the invoice. So what we're going to do here is we are going to manipulate these dates. So as right now, that is today. We're going to change that to 7 days ago, and we're also going to change this to 7 days ago. Make that the 19th. All right. So, like I said before, this is getting triggered every 6 hours. So every 6 hours, it's just pulling all the information from this sheet. It's going to clean it up, filter it, and only filter for emails that have been or invoices that were sent 7 days ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, and then every single day after a month. And essentially, let's do that, and we're going to actually see the thread gets pulled. We're going to see that actual Ethan Davis Blue Skies project, 15,000. Very quick. Let's look at the Excel sheet right now. Last emailed 27th, which is today. And still no updates because he has not, or I have not paid the invoice. And if we go to our email, bang, let's refresh the page. I don't know why that button is blue. That can be very easily fixed. Okay. So there you go. Hello, Ethan. I hope this message finds you well. I want to kindly remind you that your invoice for blah, 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 totaling $15,000 is due on November 19th. Remember, we changed it to the 19th. You need any assistance, please feel free to reach out. Blah, 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 blah. For fun, let's move this another 7 days back. Or, you know what? Let's move another 7 days back. It was on the 20th. Let's do that. And we're going to do this again. And once again, we're going to see that this isn't going to change because today's the same day. But if we refresh this, there you go. And as you can see, it's sending a kind of like a slightly nicer tone of a follow-up for the 2 week one, or a slightly more direct tone for the 2 week follow-up, which kind of simulates, a human operating this system. Again, 15,000. Let's try the, you know what? We're going to move on to the next part because I don't want to make this video too long. So you get the gist, right? It's automatically following up. And not only is it just following up, it's sending modified messages that reflect the amount of time that's passed. And if it's overdue, it'll say, hey, your invoice is overdue, 1 day overdue, another email the next day. Your invoice is 2 days overdue. Please pay the invoice. All right, so now let's say Ethan, aka 28cbass@gmail.com, decides that he has paid the invoice. I have paid the invoice. Thank you so much for your service. You did an amazing job. I love 123 construction. INC. All right. So we're going to go ahead and send that. Again, we haven't touched anything in me sending emails is, we haven't touched anything. This is essentially all getting triggered every 6 hours, and it's automating, and this whole process is automated. The only thing I've clicked are these scheduled triggers to essentially, for the sake of this demo. But now, again, every 6 hours or every day, it's going to pull the emails from the last 24 hours, and it's going to look for an email that can be matched to your client emails. In this case, let's say clients are the ones that confirm all of the invoice payments for 123 Construction Inc. And then it's going to determine either A, has the invoice been paid? Is there a question about the invoice? Or is it just a random email from, one of your clients? And also it's going to then update this sheet to paid, if it is paid. And then we're going to get a text message, automated text message, which is pretty cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to click play, and I'm going to go bang. You can see my phone. Go to the Google Sheet. Watch the double. Here. Ready? Paid, bang. Where's that text message? Give me that text message. Give me that text message. Give me that text message. Bang! Text message. All right. So I signed up with a free Twilio account, so don't get excited about that. As you can see, invoice 008 has been paid by Ethan Davis, aka me. And if you click the link, yeah, it goes right to your email. There's the email. There's I have paid the invoice. Thank you. I love 123 Construction Inc. So there you have it. We have essentially automated the entire invoice process. You don't have to touch a finger. You don't have to touch a button. You don't have to move a finger. All you got to do is just say, hey, my project's done, and essentially just let this thing do its work. And then you get a text message confirming that your invoices have been paid. And there are a few other things you can add on to this. The last thing I want to stress is that this is very interchangeable, and it's very easy to integrate with whatever systems you use for your back end or whatever. Could be Airtable, could be Notion, could be industry specific service. It's all doable. And one other thing is this is very easily can be used to trigger, future workflows. Like, let's say once the invoice is finished, right, that essentially closes the door on the project. Maybe once, for example, this status bar for the invoice gets, tagged as paid, we can take the project ID, query the project table, query the clients, and actually look at like employees, see the hourly rates on what project and what tasks they finished, and actually create like an automated comprehensive document or project review of the document with finances, the task completed, the tools used, time used, materials used, etc. And then actually see the the cost or the total cost of the project, the revenue of the project, or profit of the project, all that fun stuff. But yeah. I guess the point of this video is automate your invoice lifecycle. It's just a waste of time if you're not. And I will be making this a free template, I believe, that you should be able to download by checking out our website and taking our client intake form. All right. I will see you next time.